Welcome to another episode of Fave 5 from Fans, the podcast all about favorites. I'm your ever enthusiastic host, Jamie Ray, and I actually have a review on my site now that says I'm ever enthusiastic. So it's there, it's on the internet, you got to believe it. Today, I'm being joined by Chris of the Best Under 5 podcast, part of the Longbox Crusade network that I am so happy to say I've been a guest of myself. Well, they take movies that are rated at 4.9 and or below on IMDb and then rewatch them and re-rate them. So, welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, Jamie.
I'm very excited to have you. I looked back at our emails have been going back and forth for like 8 months or something.
Yeah, right.
But we're finally here.
Took us long enough, but now we're here, and now we can get this under wraps.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about. So, Chris, what are we going to be talking about today?
We are going to be talking about my 5 favorite 80s sci-fi and fantasy movies.
That's right. And that's kind of a good, nice, broad topic because the 80s were full of stuff.
Oh, God, yes. I think that's the bulk of what I watched. Between that and action, that pretty much made up everything I watched.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But sprinkling of comedies in here and there, but it was mostly sci-fi, fantasy, and action.
Yeah. There's some good stuff back then, I've not that I'm a huge fan of AI, but I've been seeing some AI trailers where they'll take like all of Arnold's movies and replace it with like Sylvester Stallone, and it's just it's fun stuff. But back then those guys, they ruled the world right then. It was something else. Okay, well, if you're ready,
Yep,
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I've asked you about honorable mentions. It's your first time on the show. Let's see if you pull a mark. How many honorable mentions do you have?
I have 2.
Wow. Look at that. That's how you do it, sir. Right there. That's how you do it.
More, but I'm like, okay, no, we're gonna cut this at 2. We're gonna cut this at 2. There were 2 that really stuck out.
Yeah, cool. Well, if you're ready, then I'm ready. Why don't you go ahead and give us your honorable mentions?
All right. My first honorable mention is a film that came out in 1983, grossed 16.9 million and was a commercial flop. It has an IMDb rating of 6.1, and it's kind of a cult classic at this point.
Okay.
It was filmed at Pinewood Studios utilizing the 007 soundstage, and it was directed by Peter Yates, who gave us The Year of the Comet, Breaking Away, Bullet, and some other classics.
Yeah.
It is Krull.
Oh, the 5-star throne thing.
Yes, the was it the Glaive, which
the
sadly did not get on screen time. And I think that's a complaint from a lot of people. It's like, you have this spiffy weapon that every kid looked at, and it's like, right, dude, that's cool, and it gets used in the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
come on,
exactly. Well, so what's there about that movie that you do like that really made an honorable mention?
I watched it all the time.
Really?
If it was on HBO or TNT or TBS, I was watching it. And
wow.
And as a kid, I thought it was great. As an adult, I still watch it. I like it. Yeah, there's some plot holes. There's some stuff that they kind of gloss over. But they made a valiant attempt at doing some world building here, and it holds up. Is it great? No, but I got a soft spot for it because I watched it all the time.
Right. And that's where the old wizard goes to stick his hand out and it suddenly gets shriveled up and old. Okay. I remember that. Awesome. Well, that's a great pick. Not on my list. So we're doing good so far.
Yep. Got a young Robbie Coltrane and Liam Neeson in it too.
Right, Liam Neeson. Yes. Wow, he's got a special set of skills.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's back it up with your other honorable mention, sir.
My other honorable mention, and I know some people are probably going to be shocked at this one, but it is Aliens. I'll just jump right
Wow.
to it. It is Aliens, 8.4 on
That's a good one.
IMDb, and yeah, it, it's one of those that I love it, but I there was another one that I watched a lot more and had a more of a lasting impact on me that made that I swapped out for my number 5 to
Okay.
my number 5 spot last night.
Wow, I've got to say, man, that is a bold choice, and it was all over in the 80s. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
geez, you could see it like you said, you could see it on broadcast TV, and you watch it on broadcast TV, you got to see the extra footage that you didn't get to see if you watched it on
Mhm.
HBO,
Yep.
which was
I
very
and that's
cool.
where yep, and that's where I saw it was on TV or cable or HBO, and I didn't see it in theaters until probably about 6 years ago. There
Oh,
was a
really? Like a
theater in
flashback?
town. Yep, theater in
Uh-huh.
town doing a retro slash flashback cinema summer, and I called up a buddy of mine, and we went over to his house, and my wife and son, and they hung out with his wife and kids, and Todd and I were
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go check this out. And it was fantastic watching it on the
Oh, I
big
bet
screen.
it
Oh
was.
wow.
Oh my God. That movie has, yeah, I can do a whole series of shows about that movie. It is just
Oh
so
yeah.
awesome.
Hmm.
That is an excellent Have you ever seen the What If, like, 5-issue miniseries? It's called What If Aliens, and it's all about if, what's his name? Burke, if Burke were able to actually have gotten one of the embryos onto the ship
No,
and go to
I
take it.
have
Yeah, it's
not.
really cool.
That
Kind of makes you, well, you still hate him by the end, but
well, yeah, yeah. I think Burke he's one of those guys that unanimously everybody hates him, and all Gen Xers probably think he is the absolute worst,
yeah,
slimiest, underhanded,
yeah,
guy in any movie.
yeah. And if he's right there with Hans Gruber. I mean,
Yes.
it's kind of neck and neck. Uh, well, no, that's some excellent choices, man. You really brought it, and again, not on my list. Um,
Oh,
I
really?
tended to go with this list with things that I watch nowadays more
Okay.
than I did back then. So, as a matter of fact, my first one from 1983 is going to
Mhm.
be Deathstalker.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's a low
I
budget storm
Yep.
sorcery, sand and sandals, following a roguish warrior who must retrieve 3 magical items to defeat an evil sorcerer with a wicked, cool snake tattoo on his head. So
Yes.
awesome. It's campy. It's exploitation style. It's kind of like if Conan the Barbarian wasn't as good as he was.
Mhm.
And of course, you've got Playboy Playmate Barbie Benton.
Oh,
Just,
that's right. That's right. I
oh,
actually own that one on DVD. And
do
I
you?
did not
Yeah,
come into Deathstalker until probably 3 years ago.
really.
Yeah,
And
found it on Tubi and watched it, and like
yeah,
it's just fantastic.
yeah, and it's a longish film. It's really kind of feels like it's got the 3 different acts to it.
Hmm.
And I mean, how often do you see a pig-headed warrior get to fight? It's
That's
cool.
true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that one. Now, my other one is going to be kind of a dark horse.
Okay.
But again, it harkens back to what we were exposed to back then. In 1982, there came to the screens Time Rider: The Adventures of Lyle Swan.
Oh wow, you're really digging deep with that one.
I love this movie. Now, it would be surprised to know that I also love Remo Williams.
I,
Remo Williams, the
so do
saga
I.
begins. Well, most of them have like subtitles to them. But it's such a warrant kind of movie. I mean, you've got the guy who would later on be in Tremors, riding
Hmm.
a motorcycle who accidentally drives onto a time travel pad like the Fantastic Four have, and winds up at the exact same spot, which I did appreciate back in
Hmm.
1877. And so he uses his fancy demon horse to uh, explore the dangerous frontier that was the Wild West, while a gang of outlaws pursue him, led by Peter Coyote, who was pretty much a bad guy in that one.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's got a really cool ending. It's kind of one of those you meet your own grandmother kind of things, or are you your own grandfather? But it's a fun movie. I actually have it on VHS. I've watched it quite often. It's one of those things that you could just put on and just go. Fred Ward is just he's just a special kind of actor, you know. He's got that I'm a nobody kind of guy, and I get forced into these situations and I excel at it. And I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a great movie.
I've never seen
So,
him in anything that I've never liked. He's one of those guys that I see him in a movie, like, or see him in the cast list. I'm like, oh, yep, I'm watching this.
go watch that. I'm right there with you, you know. Um, and now that I'm thinking about it, man, I gotta kind of dig in and look to see what other movies he's been in, because he never fails to bring it.
Mm. Um, oh wait, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. I think he's in Southern Comfort.
Oh, oh, is that the one where they go the ghosts of the Confederates?
It's no, it's I'm gonna look
Oh,
it up.
okay.
I actually have it on DVD. It's basically a National Guard unit ends up getting stranded in the bayou on a training
Uh-huh.
exercise. It's basically Deliverance, but with
Oh,
the
yes.
National Guard unit.
Yeah. So there's another film, I can't think of the name of it right now, but both LeVar Burton and Michelle
Mhm.
Nichols are in it. And they're like National Guardsmen that are on a training mission, but somehow the zombie ghost skeletons of Confederate soldiers rise up and start to attack them. I don't know what that one's called,
Wow,
but yeah, I
I
remember
have
Southern Comfort.
never heard of that. Sounds
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
Eh,
it's called The Supernaturals.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, Fred Ward was in Southern Comfort. Yeah.
that's it. Well, there's another one. Just one more, and we'll have a Fave Five.
Favorite Fred Ward movies. Yes.
That's Fave Five from France. Fave Five Fred Ward films.
That's a mouthful.
Say that 3 times fast. All right. Well, now we've got those honorable mentions out of the way. I am ready to hear what your number 5 is.
All right. My number 5 movie. This came out in 1981. It's got an IMDb rating of 7.6. It
Okay.
has some spectacular practical special effects. The car chases in this are phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
And it is my favorite post-apocalyptic movie. It's one that I measure all the others by.
Okay.
You got it?
I'm thinking, is it
It's
um
Yep.
Road Warrior Mad Max 2?
It is The Road
Yes.
Warrior, Mad Max
Yeah.
2. Yes.
That movie has such an interesting story behind it.
Mhm.
Of how
Yeah.
you go ahead. You go ahead. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to walk over
you're
you.
right. The story behind how it got made with,
Uh-huh.
what George, what was this, trying to think of the actor or the director's name, George Miller?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yes, yes, yes. He basically went to medical school so he could film this movie, which is
Mhm.
nuts.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was just them in the outback, crashing cars all over the
that's it.
place.
You know? Yeah. And for me, the other cool part of it is that Mad Max had already been made. And
Mhm.
Mel Gibson, uh, being Australian, he got to do his own voices.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until The Road Warrior came out that America really embraced it. And then they went back. That's why it's called Road Warrior here, where
Mhm.
everywhere else it was called Mad
It's Mad
Max
Max
2.
2. Yep.
And then they go back and release Mad Max, but they dubbed him.
Yep.
And it isn't until later on that you get the real, and which is stupid because obviously it happens in Australia. Just give
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy his
Yeah.
Australian
Yeah,
accent.
just give him his
Um,
Australian accent. I don't know
yeah,
why
I
they
don't
did
either.
that
You
because
know,
I have I was it was this was probably 20 some years ago. I found that they re-released Mad Max with the uh original Australian, soundtrack, no dub.
right?
And I thought it makes the movie so much better.
It does. Oh yeah,
And
I
which
watch
is why I
everything
like
with.
Road
I
Warrior
can't
2,
stand dubs.
or Road Warrior, I should say. Yeah. She said, I would say Road Warrior 2. She said Mad Max 2. Like, no, no. But yeah,
Yeah,
I watch this again all the time on TBS and TNT. And I've got I've got a copy on Blu-ray, I got a copy on DVD. I would
yeah,
love to get my hands on a copy of the soundtrack and the movie novelization of this.
yeah. So do you obviously do you like it more than Mad Max?
Y- yes. Yes, I
Okay,
do. I mean, Mad Max it's an origin story.
right.
Mad Max is basically an origin story. It was a well put together story.
Mm,
And the background behind that one, when they put that one together, the filming of it is just as bonkers as
yeah,
the Road Warrior. But
yeah.
Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior, it it's a little more polished.
True,
It seems a little more polished, and the story is a little tighter.
and a little more expansive.
Hmm.
Um, but I will say that they feel. I mean, obviously they're different movies, but they kind of feel better in their own ways. Because in the first one, it doesn't have that polish. It doesn't have that really big story. But, you get to see Max just go through all of the steps, and all of the changes in his life. And then the end, oh my God, when that little baby booty is just,
Oh yeah, yeah.
God, but I don't know. It would be hard put to for me to say which one of them is my favorite because they do feel like one is a drama action and the other is an action.
Oh yeah,
So
you are right. Yeah, Mad Max is very much a drama slash action movie, and then
yeah,
Road Warrior is all
yeah,
action, balls to the walls
yeah,
action, which
yeah.
is
And
why I love it.
well, Road Warrior has just a little too much male tush in for me. Give that guy some underwear. That's all I'm asking.
Well, when I was doing some research for this, I didn't find anything out, any interesting trivia about that, but I did find out that supposedly Humongous was originally supposed to be Max's partner Goose
Really?
from the first movie. And
Yeah,
I had
the one
always wondered
in the
about that
fire and
too.
everything.
Yeah, with the fire, and him
Yeah,
getting
so
burned
that would
up,
be
which
why he's wearing the
kind of
mask.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they decided to go. The production company decided to go against it, but left a few hints, such as the horrible burns behind Humongous's goalie mask and
yeah,
his Raiders' use of the police vehicles.
y that makes sense. I've
So
never
yeah,
heard that before, but that would have been a
yeah.
neat twist.
Hmm.
Um, I wonder if they
And
chose not to do it because the
yes,
fact that Mad Max wasn't really that well known in the States, and
yeah,
he
yeah,
was making it for America.
yeah, yeah. I was just about to say the same thing. I'm glad they didn't go that
Yeah,
route and just kind of left it really ambiguous as to who Humongous was.
yeah. I agree. I agree. All right, man. That is a great choice. I'm very proud. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna parry that one with
Okay.
a movie that some of my friends out there are already gonna be smacking their head. It's
Hmm.
from 1988. Now, this is a movie that I
88.
watch all the time, and it is called Critters 2: The Main Course. Okay? I know it's a bad movie, okay? But, like, I've got a furry critter up here,
Oh, awesome.
and it's just I mean, the first movie was so cool, and so you're like, how do you do that again? Because you already know. Well, how do you do it?
Mhm.
Now they can all get together and make a huge ball, you know. And you got Charlie coming back, who is he's such a cool character. I mean, you talk about redemption. Everyone made fun of him in the first movie, and now he's an intergalactic bounty hunter of he's like a caddy for international, I mean, intergalactic bounty hunters, but still, he's there. It's a fun film with these voracious little critters who obviously someone saw Gremlins 2 and was like, oh, we should give each one of these guys their own personality. And then you've got, oh, you've got another, I think it's Playboy Playmate running around with a staple in her stomach because she transferred when Charlie was holding up the Playboy. And I'm like, even as a kid, I knew, I mean, I knew you were going with that. And I'm like, I got you. Okay, I got you. But not to spoil a movie from 1988, but they actually kill one of them near the end of the movie. And it's like, wow, what are you going to do next? Must be over. No, they'll do like 3 more of them.
I was trying to remember how many they made because I have never seen any of the Critters movies.
Really?
Really?
Maybe you might want to keep it that way. I'm just saying.
Well, I just looked up what the IMDb rating on was for Critters 2 was, and I'm like, oh, dang, Jared and I can't do it. It's 5.6.
Oh, okay.
But I'll bet if we go further into the series,
oh, yes, trust me, it's like drops off the precipice there.
Pretty quick.
There's this one scene where they go into like a burger barn and they lock the door and the playmate is she has a big gun and the one guy puts his out and he's like oh and then she puts hers out and it's pretty big and then pushes a button and goes gets real. You're like, what are they trying to do?
right. Like, what are you trying to hint at here?
Yeah. But if you have, and it seems like you enjoy not great movies sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely tell you to watch 1 and 2 because there are a lot. Pop some popcorn, sit down, and just enjoy it for what it is.
All right. So what's your number 4?
Well, I'm asking your number 4 now.
You're gonna ask me number 4. Yeah, you just went. Yep.
You're testing me there.
So this one, I again watch this all the time. 1981. It was released on the same day as Raiders of the Lost Ark and came in second at the box office that weekend.
Okay.
They were attempting to cash in on the success of Star Wars toys, and they made a toy line out of this. It wasn't really successful. It had a mechanical owl in it. It is Clash of the Titans.
Yes. They did have a cool set of toys though. What was it, the Kraken or what was it, Kraken? Was it the Kraken?
The Kraken, the big guy with the
with all the tentacles and everything. That was a cool toy. Yeah.
See, I vaguely remember some of the small action figures, but I don't remember like the Kraken or Pegasus or anything like that.
I had that one guy in the neighborhood whose parents got him all the toys. He had the Micronauts, he had these, and I just remember because it was like, I mean, there's hardly any articulation whatsoever. I mean, I think some of the tentacles moved, like on one pivot joint or something. But the movie was a lot of fun.
Doing some research for this one, I found this interesting that before Harry Hamlin was considered, their other runners-up were Malcolm McDowell, Michael York, Richard Chamberlain, or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold could do a good job.
I can't. It would be a totally different movie if Arnold was in
what?
That.
Yeah. I mean, Hamlin did a good job because he kind of looked like an everyday guy, Well, if you got some of those other ones, you'd be like, oh, well, obviously he's an adventurer, But what was the owl's name?
Bubo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I didn't figure this out until until I started doing some research for this movie. And I'm like, wait a minute. The name Bubo is a scientific term for the genus of eagle owls and horned owls.
Get out of here. What?
Yep.
I was this days old when I learned it.
There is a wildlife preserve park near us, and they have some owls. And we were out there a few months ago, and we're walking down the trail where they've got all the birds, and I look over and I got, no way. Bubo is a genus of owls. How
That's
did
awesome.
I never pick up on that?
Oh, oh, wow. That's really cool. I didn't know that either. Look at that, folks. You're learning stuff every day on the show.
Yep, yep. There's your trivia for the day, or your knowledge tidbit for the day.
Well, I'm
It,
going to
it,
parry your 1981, and I'm going to give you my 1981.
oh, you got one from 81 too? Okay.
Yes, but this one's going to be a sci-fi. It
Okay.
is set on the mining colony of Jupiter's moon Io.
I think I know what it is.
Go ahead.
It is Outland with Sean Connery.
Outland. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
I watch that movie all the time. It is just, I mean, obviously it's high noon, in
Yep. Yep.
space.
Mhm.
Sean
But it's
Connery
great.
is awesome. I
Mhm.
love when older actors play to their age.
Yeah.
He was really great in this. Francis Sternhagen as the
Mhm.
grumpy
As
doctor.
the grumpy
Um,
doctor. Yes, I love her.
yeah, they're both, and then you got Peter Boyle, and you've got James B. Seeking. He was Captain
Who is he?
Styles in Star Trek
Okay.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the other guys. But I mean, it's just such a bad ass movie.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, the fight scenes in the kitchen, where they throw the drugs into the boiling.
Yes. Yes. When he's
Mm,
chasing after the guy, and
yeah,
yeah, he dumps the drugs in the hot water. Like, yeah.
yeah,
He reaches
yeah,
in there to
yeah,
grab him. Like, oh my god.
yeah,
It,
yeah,
but
man.
yeah.
It's it's such a cool film, and I don't really hear a lot of people talk about it. I mean, of course,
Mhm.
Bond eclipses everything that
Yep.
Sean
Yep.
Connery did.
Yep.
But I would put this right up there with some of his other stuff because he carries that entire movie.
I would say it's one of his best non-Bond roles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I own it on DVD, and I even own the movie novelization too. My son got it for me
Oh,
for Christmas a few years ago.
so that's that's really cool because again, I don't see a lot of people who talk about it and watch. I mean, I've said this movie and a couple of different people are
Mhm.
like, no, I'll have to go and find that. I'm
Really?
like, you are
See,
missing out.
I think it's one of those that a lot of people slept on because I didn't see it when I was younger. I came to that one later in life, probably my early 20s is when
Okay,
I discovered that one, and I watched it and I thought, this is this is great.
this is
This is
great.
awesome.
You know, I mean, and the thing is you could remake that movie today and put all the
Oh
special
yeah.
effects and everything else you wanted into it, but you would not make a better movie.
No, no.
Um, the fact that it's industrial and it looks like what you would think a mining colony in
Mhm.
space would look like.
Yes.
I mean, it just plays everything, and the guns. Yeah. Now, of course, there's you could talk about how much gravity there actually would be there
Mhm.
as compared to Earth, but no, we don't have gravity outside, but we have gravity inside.
Right,
But
right.
I'm going to just let that alone and just let it go. So
We'll just let that one slide,
yeah,
I'm trying to remember uh, there's a podcast they don't do any more episodes. They haven't for, about 3 or 4 years. What did one of the hosts always say? Suspension of disbelief, I think is what it
yeah,
was.
that's it. You just got to sit
Just just
down and,
just
and
roll
enjoy
with
it.
it. Just roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like World War Z for me. If I sit down and watch it as a movie adaptation, I hate it.
Okay.
But if I sit down and watch it as a zombie movie, it's a great zombie movie. It's fun.
Mhm.
But oh, yeah, no. All right. Well, we're getting close to it now. Let's hear your number 3. And we haven't matched
Oh,
yet. So
I know, I'm kinda
this could be it.
surprised, but then again, there's a lot to pick from.
Yes, there are.
So my number 3, it's got an IMDb rating of 7.7, was released in June of '82, grossed $79 million on a budget of 12 and is considered to be the best of the franchise.
Yeah.
And it has a few Chippendale dancers as supporting actors. Do you know what it is?
Is it Conan?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. The soundtrack was done by James Horner.
Okay.
And despite the rumors, that is Ricardo Montalban's chest and not a prosthesis.
Oh, you went deep. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Rod. God.
Yes. Star Trek 2. I love this. I'm not a huge Star Trek nerd. I mean, I love the movies. I grew up on watching The Next Generation and a little bit of the original series, but I way more of a Star Wars nerd than Star Trek. But I love the movies, and this one is my absolute favorite when it comes
It's
to
because
the
it's the
Star Trek
best.
universe.
It's the best, hands down, period. And it's because it's it's a Star Trek movie, sure, but it's not a Star Trek movie. It's a submarine movie. It's a revenge movie. It's got all of these different things going in on it. And Nicholas Meyer, after the debacle that was Star Trek: The Motion Picture, they were like ready to throw it. He was like, no,
Yep.
I've got this. Let me do this. And they're like, okay, well, let's see what you come up with. And he sits down and watches every classic episode and then says, boom, Khan.
Yep.
What if the Federation wasn't all of that? And they stuck him on there and they never came back. And boom. And okay, fine. There's the whole camp that will have the argument of Khan never met Chekhov. So how did he know what he looked like? Then you got the camp that says, oh, well, he spent all of that time. Chekhov could have, in fact, been on the ship and he saw the registry of them. And being there was a super mind, he remembered him. Whatever. Paul Winfield. So much. I'm sorry, I'm going on and on. You talk about it.
No. I mean, you're hitting a lot of the same points. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie from start to finish. And you're right. It's like that in my trivia. I found out and when I saw that, it said, yeah, it's a submarine movie in space. I'm like, oh my god, it is.
It is. Yeah.
And some of the things and I rewatched this again. I own the DVD. I own the soundtrack. The 2-disc soundtrack, no less.
Ooh, and no less.
The movie novelization.
Yeah. So I don't want to, compare mine to yours, okay? But I have 3 different versions of the VHS. I have the Betamax.
3 versions?
3 different versions. Well, 3 different cases.
Okay.
4 actually. Because there's 2 different sets. Like one of them goes together and makes the Enterprise flying through space. And another one was the gold striped one on the where they did I think the first 3 or 4 movies. Then there's one that they did from a recent release, and then there was I forget what the 4th one was. But then I have a Betamax of it. I have a laser disc of it, and I have 2 different versions on DVD, and I have a Blu-ray of it. And
holy cow!
It gets played. It's actually, as a matter of fact, I don't know. No, you can't see it, but right up there, there's 4 of them right there.
Oh wow!
Underneath the Star Wars and Darth Vader. Yeah, you can't see it on screen, but just because I also have somebody gave me the Funko where Kirk and Spock are putting their hands against the glass.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know. This is where the picking got tough, and I'm like, oh man, where do I put him? Because this one it landed right smack in the middle. I'm like, it's got to be towards the top half because like I said, I watched it all the time. It was on. It seemed like it was on HBO more than anything else.
Yeah,
but
and one of the most interesting things about, one of the more interesting things about it is that, first of all, Montalban and Shatner never met on set.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, they totally, filmed differently. And there's also not a lot of deleted scenes. Like in a lot of movies, you'll go. Aliens, of course, has a ton of deleted scenes. I
Oh yeah.
just saw one the other day that I hadn't seen before from Aliens, but it's like he did it right. He knew what he wanted in the film and what he didn't want,
Well,
even to
he
the fact where
mhm,
you don't see Khan's daughter.
mhm.
Suppose that's like one of the only deleted parts I think I've ever really seen before.
Oh, that's right. He did have a daughter in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
1 hour
from
episode,
Marla.
didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
Myers was dealing with a pretty tight budget because
yes,
the studio didn't want to throw a ton of money after this after the disaster of the first one.
yeah,
So he actually ended up, I watched this with the commentary on, and Myers said that they reused a lot of sets from the first movie to cut down on
right,
costs. Regular
exactly.
One is the space station from the first movie turned upside down,
Down, yeah.
and Chekhov and Terrell's spacesuits are from the first movie. And
Mhm.
when he said that, I thought about that. Oh
That's
my
right,
God, they are. That is
they
the
are.
same suit that Spock
Just
jumps into to
painted
hurl himself
orange.
into the center of V'ger.
Yeah, it
Let's see
is,
what else
it
was it?
is.
The
But I
torpedo
love the
room in the space lab transporter were the Klingon bridge from the first movie.
yeah, I love the fact, though, that he did spend money on the uniforms,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
is one of the best things that ever came out, because the way that that looked, it really kind of brought you back from, I mean, the pajamas were pajamas, come on. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just
right, right,
whatever.
right.
But these things were so cool, especially when they'd unflap and come down, and
Hmm.
then when you got the blood on the oh man, it's just Nick did everything right in this film,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned.
And well, if it wasn't for him and the success of this movie, we
Oh,
wouldn't have had all the others.
no, no, that's for sure. They'd have put a cap on it right then, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, so no, oh, excellent choice, man, excellent choice. Wow, that's great. That's great.
All right. Now I'm interested to see what yours is.
Well, mine came out in 1982 as well.
Oh,
And I think I just gave it away when I guessed for yours. But I'm going to go with Sword and Sorcery this round
okay.
and go with Conan the Barbarian. Okay.
That one's on my list.
Oh, we have a
It
match.
is on my list. And we have a match.
All right. Well, how about this? How about if it's on your list, it's either your one or your two. I'm going to stop and we'll talk about it. And then when we get to yours, I'll throw my stuff out too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Um, All right. Well, then this is a part of the show usually, and we would stop and find out all about you. Again, I know that you're co-host on the show with Jared, and
Hmm.
you know, I, first question: do you do Heroes Con?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
I do not do cons. Jared's the one that always does the cons and stuff,
Mhm.
and I've kind of come into this, late in life, the whole podcasting thing, hooking up with
Yeah.
Jared and doing this. And so I'm just I'm along for the ride. He came up with the idea for that best under five because he knew I liked bad movies just as much as he did. And he pitched the idea to me one day on X. He messaged me and says, "Hey, I got an idea. What would you think
All right.
about doing a podcast where we review bad movies?" I'm like, "I'm in." It wasn't even a question. I'm like, "Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it." And since then, I've come up with an idea for another one,
Oh.
and I'm having a rough time getting her off the ground because it's basically where I take the movies you and I and Jared, the Gen Xers grew up with, and I sit down and I watch them with my son, a Gen Z
Oh.
kid, and see what he thinks of them.
Yeah.
So we recorded a couple episodes, and then we realized he's his schedule is pretty busy, and if I put this on him that we're trying to record once a month, that it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Plus, with the 3 episodes we recorded, thinking, I'm going to get the same opinion over and over because I haven't shown him a movie he didn't like. You know,
Oh, there's
the movies
plenty
I
you could
grew up
show him
with,
that he wouldn't like.
well, seriously, he loves all the Bond movies to one degree or another. He likes Krull. He loves Aliens. He absolutely loves Alien. He
Yeah.
lo- he at 8 years old, he sat through Star Trek, the motion picture, and he liked it, you know?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
When he was 13, we watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That is a
Oh,
3.5 hour slog,
yeah.
and he thought it was fantastic.
Wow. Because it
So
is.
yeah, yeah, it is. So I thought, okay, I got to branch out. So what I've been trying to do is I've got to hit up some of his friends at high school and maybe some of the student teachers that I run into when I substitute teach, because
Uh-huh.
they are the perfect age for this. It's just a
Okay.
matter of, okay, we got to get some schedules to work out and get some
Yeah.
episodes under my belt.
Wow. Well, once you get ready to release it, let me know because I would sure love to watch some of those. Because I do love because it's hard when someone much younger watches a movie that I absolutely adore and
Mhm.
they're like, meh. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. You remember what he did this in that movie? That was the first time that was ever done. And then you remember
Right.
later on when he did this? That they came up with that. Yeah, but I've seen it. Yeah, but you didn't see it. And then he makes you think, okay, yeah. You've seen it over and over. It doesn't matter that
Yeah.
it's the first time, you
Right.
know. So no, like, do you have a name for it?
Generation gap.
I like that. I like that. Very cool. Well, awesome. Well, what else do you have going on, sir?
Oh, I am a scoutmaster for our local troop,
Okay.
and that keeps me busy doing that.
Sure.
And then a substitute teacher, so I still get to put my mechanical engineering degree to use. Dealing with middle schoolers and high schoolers. That between those two things, and running around with a 17-year-old, it keeps me busy.
That's amen, sir. Amen. Oh, well, that's awesome, man. So how'd you meet up with Jared?
An X,
Ah,
we probably 2019, right when COVID hit, 2019,
yeah,
2020, I decided to hop for some reason. I was like, I'd hop back on X and, because or on Twitter as it was at the time.
right.
And I decided, I need to get away from all the politics and stuff. So I centered my entire feed on Twitter around movies, TV, and retro stuff from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
And I stumbled upon
So you gotta
Jared.
come across Jared.
Yeah, yeah. I stumbled across Jared and his drawings, and the stuff that he would post with the GI Joe characters and the
Mhm.
Transformers and all of his cool Goodwill finds. And I need Goodwills like he has down there.
I
Up
I
here where I
hate
live.
him. Oh my God, I hate him. It's like every week he comes home with treasures, you know? It's like
I know.
I'll go and I'm lucky if they have two shoes that match on on the shelf over there. And this guy's pulling all kinds of stuff.
The etc. shop here, the secondhand store that we have in the small town I live in, I have better luck there than I do at
Yeah.
the Goodwill, the next town over, which is kind of sad because I live in a town of 5,500 people.
Oh, well, the thing is too is people like Salvation Army and Goodwill and stuff,
Mhm.
they're learning and they're making it into a market a lot of
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
So
yeah.
all those good deals are harder and harder to come by.
Mhm.
You know, I used
So
to
so
buy videotapes for a
yeah.
quarter. And
Mhm.
now I went in not too long ago and they had some for like $5.
I know. Yeah.
You know, just
So
like
that's how
those.
I hooked up with Jared. Was we started talking back and forth, and then I followed him and then he followed me, and we'd always be commenting about the movies that we'd watch. And I finally realized that he would start talking about bad movies and I'd start talking about bad movies, and I think on anybody on Twitter, I think and even before we started the podcast, I think I interacted with him the most.
Okay.
And that was how this all got started with the best under five.
Wow.
Because he knew my love of bad cinema was equal to his. We're kind of like
Wow.
have you listened to any of the episodes we've done?
Yep. No, honestly, I
Mm.
haven't. I've listened to a
We're kind of
bunch
like
of
Siskel and
different.
Ebert.
Oh, I've
I've
listened to a bunch of long box different of the
Mhm.
different shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Kathy's show.
Mhm.
What is it? The Sherlock Holmes
The
file, and I've
Sherlock
listened
Holmes,
to a
yes.
couple of him and his brother doing the Bond show. Listened to the New Warrior one. just I mean a whole bunch. Well, I haven't listened to any else.
Yeah,
I
I
honestly
like
don't
the
think
GI
I.
Joe Chronicle. Was it the GI Joe Chronicles and the Raiders of the Lost Ark one that Jared does? I like listening
Yeah,
to those two. But
yeah.
yeah, you should go back and listen to the one we not this one we just did, but
Uh-huh.
the one before last where we did Rotor.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
ROTOR.
You
Yes, I
know it.
know it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, I actually we have a con this weekend that I have a booth
Mhm.
at, and I'm doing panels. And one of my panels is called "You Watched What," where I go over 11 of my favorite bad movies and talk about why I love them so much. So Rotor wouldn't make it, but oh my
Oh,
God, I know that
sounds like
movie.
Jared and I could sit on that panel.
I'm gonna show you. Look.
Yeah, but when I watched, I had seen Rotor before, I think
Uh-huh.
Jared had mentioned it, and then I watched it, and then we decided to do it for the podcast. And I I told my son, it says, "All right, dude, let's check this out. You got to watch this with me."
Oh yeah.
And we came to the realization because the first time I watched, it, like, oh my god, this is horrible,
It
and
is.
then watching it with my son, I realized, this is one of those movies where you invite your friends over and you do an MST3K to it because that is
Exactly.
exactly what we did.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
ripping jokes left and right and laughing his butt off.
Yeah. So I'll give you a hint. One of my favorites on here, Frankenbook. Yeah,
I have I have never
I've got
seen that.
one or two copies of it.
Oh wow. I've been meaning to watch that. I have never seen it. I hear people talk about it, but I'm like,
It
I
is
gotta see this at some point.
it is something else. It really, really is. And I mean, if you go into it knowing that it's going to be absurd, then
Uh-huh.
you're going to be all right. Don't go in thinking it's going to be. I mean, it's not going to be. I bought a vampire motorcycle or anything. I mean, this is going to
Right,
be
right.
quality stuff.
I got
But,
I got 2 you should check out. There one of them, you think it's gonna be a bad movie? Yeah, it's a B movie, but it is not as bad as it sounds.
huh.
FDR, American Badass.
Okay.
The short version is FDR contracts polio on a hunting trip when he gets bitten by a werewolf,
Okay.
and then proceeds to, get I think I'm trying to remember if I think he was president at the time when it happened, or maybe it was right before he got elected. And then
Yeah.
it goes all the way through World War II, and it's you think this is going to be a stupid movie, but the writing
Right.
is really smart. The guys did their homework,
Okay.
and
All right.
and then another one, Zombievers.
Oh, dude, Zombievers. Well, I mean, I already have it. Zombievers on my list on my panel. I friggin' love that movie. I
They
mean,
knew what they were doing, so they
they
really lean
did
into it,
it.
which I think is what makes it good.
And one of my favorites is the two guys that are driving around in the truck, picking up no, are they? I forget. Are they sanitation workers? But it's one of them's Bill
Uh,
Burr, and
yeah.
it's just so I love that movie. You, sir, have my kind of taste. Notice I didn't say good taste, but my kind of taste.
Oh yeah, it's not good taste because some of the stuff Jared and I watch, it's like, yeah, this is not good taste.
Do you know they're doing a sequel?
What they did,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
they are.
they are. When I was
Okay.
doing my research for my panel this week,
Mhm,
there's a bunch of talk about. Well, of course, it's the internet talk, but they're talking about
mhm.
Zombievers
Yeah, yeah.
too. You know, so
I explained both of those to my son, and he goes, "We gotta watch that.
we gotta watch
We
it.
gotta watch those." I said, "Dude, you're gonna love them because
I
yeah, because
mean,
he's a history nut." I said, "So you will love FDR,
yeah.
the
Well,
FDR,
and
the
then
one."
y'all could follow up the FDR movie with the man who killed Hitler and then Bigfoot
You know,
with
is that
Sam
any
Neill.
good?
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised about it
Okay.
because I did watch it for a long time because it sounded like it was going to be stupid.
Right,
And then I
right.
really sat down. I was like, okay, it's got Sam Neill and it's got Sam Neill's mustache in it. So two of the best actors in Hollywood right there. And do you know that Sam Neill's mustache actually has its own Twitter page?
Yes.
and it's tweeted to me a few times, or tweeted back to me a few
Oh,
times.
really?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's reposted something I've put
yeah,
out when I've made a comment about his mustache or lack
yeah,
thereof.
exactly. Because he's in uh, is it Fogs? Yeah, he's in Fogs without his mustache. Which, oh my God, you've never seen Fogs? Oh,
I have. It's been a while.
yeah, that's him. He's pretty young with no remember because it's the 4th of July and some of the family members
Mhm.
are there and like one of the women brings him and
Okay.
it's like so young in that one. And then he got the mustache, grew into his I always thought he was like foreign with that mustache, or maybe at the most got it at like 3 or 4. But no. So, well, man, we could do this all night long,
Oh, I know.
but
Yeah. We get going on bad movies. Like, well, we could talk
I'm
for 3
telling you,
hours.
uh, this is the part of the show, though, where all of the people in Hungary, like all 23 people, they've gathered in, the middle of the town to that one, little laptop that streams the show with the vested speaker that they try really hard to
Mhm.
listen to, because this is where we're going to give out our penultimate choices. Our number 2, give it to me.
All right, number 2. This movie has an IMDb rating of 6.5 and came out in 1980, so it just barely makes the cut. It was meant to start a franchise, but didn't do so hot in the theaters as it was going up against The Empire Strikes Back. And the soundtrack was supplied by Queen.
Queen. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Flash Gordon.
Yes, it was Flash Gordon.
Awesome.
I love this movie,
I do
and
too.
I again, I used to own the soundtrack on cassette. I need to get a
Uh,
copy of it on CD for my
yeah.
collection. I own the novel, and I tell you what, the novel is wildly different from
Really?
the movie. Yes, there is a lot of stuff in there. I I I read it last year or something. I'm gonna have to dig through X. I'm gonna have to search through my posts and repost it and tag you in it because
Okay.
there were some scenes in there that were just absolutely bonkers. Like in the
Really?
book, they go back and there are some scenes that actually take place on Earth, so you see what the
Oh,
devastation of the ray, that the weather ray or whatever it is that Ming has
yeah.
focused on Earth, and there's also uh, some discussion in there about uh, why Dale was at that Bar Harbor restaurant, or
Yeah.
they're at the bar. Apparently, she was trying to find herself. She had just gotten out of a relationship, and the the relationship she was in was a little weird.
Really? It wasn't
Yes.
with Dr. Hans Zarkov, was it?
No. They also dig a little bit more into Zarkov's background,
Yeah.
and Clytus and oh god, what, I can't think of the lady's name. The one that dressed in all black. She was always dressed in all black, like a
Oh, yeah,
latex
with
suit.
the head
Yeah, the
covering
way
and
the head
everything.
dress.
Yeah.
Apparently, her and Clytus had a thing at one point in time.
Oh,
Yeah, like I said, the novel is kind of
that's
wild. There
out
was a lot
there.
of stuff that was left on the cutting room floor. Like, yeah, we don't need this in the script anymore. We're gonna take this out. And I didn't find this out until a couple of years ago on another podcast. Sam Jones's lines were all dubbed.
Really?
Yes,
I did not know that.
because he was kind of full of himself and didn't come back to do any of the redubbing work, or
Oh, really? The
do
looping?
any of the rework on the dialogue.
Yeah.
So they got somebody else in to do it.
Wow. So they redid all of his lines?
All of them, yes.
That's crazy.
And everyone was in this, and the cast was signed on to do more movies, but after it bombed, those plans were
Yeah.
shelved.
Yeah. And now it's such a, I mean, look, Ted brought the movie back. I
Yep,
mean,
yep.
he's on the circuit now all the time. I actually have one of the action figures signed by him. I didn't get to meet him, but a friend of mine got it.
Mm.
But
Oh, very
it's
cool.
such a young Timothy Dalton, pre
Yes,
Bond Timothy
yes.
Dalton,
Pre-Bond Timothy Dalton.
you know? And then what was her name? Topal,
Topol,
the
yes.
the Princess Ardala, I think. Oh man, just
Or Topol was he was Zarkov.
Right.
with Zarkov, then
And then
later ended up in a Bond movie.
exactly, and then like I said, whatever her name was, the
Um,
princess that
God, it's
you
it's
know,
slipping. It's on the tip of my tongue, but she was in
yeah.
Star Trek.
Oh, really?
She was in if I remember right, she was um the uh oh man, I am totally blanking here. She was in Star Trek the Motion Picture. She was the bald-headed
Wait,
girl.
that's Teresa Kamada?
Yes, yes, that's it. Persis Kamada.
Really?
Yes. Yes, I'm
Wow.
almost positive. Yep. And she was also in Megaforce.
Nighthawks. Yeah, and Nighthawks.
Oh, that's right, Nighthawks. I just rewatched that one.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
That's a favorite of mine too.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Man, that is, and again, one of the most, I mean, Iron Eagle, I mean, not Iron Eagle, Queen was all over the soundtracks in the
Mhm.
80s. I
Yes.
mean, this Iron Eagle, of course, Highlander, just,
Mhm.
they had their mark on so many things. But this one, that song, phew, man, that's on my heavy rotation. I love that song.
Oh, it's
Um,
great. It's great.
yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah, the dialogue is cheesy,
Oh, yeah.
but you know what? The
Purposeful.
sets, what's that?
It was purposeful. I mean, they did it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
wanted it to be cheesy. I hope they
Okay.
wanted it because
Okay.
they succeeded.
Yeah, right. But the sets and the costuming in this movie are absolutely fantastic.
Yes, it really is. And again, I mean, Max von Sydow was awesome as me. I
Oh yeah.
mean, he
Yeah.
was really great. That
Mhm.
laugh that he had, um, but everybody was so, I mean, everybody's, memorable in that movie. Um, especially the football scene. Oh my
Yes,
God.
that
Oh,
was,
they're the right pills.
parts of that when, Melanie Anderson starts going around, she's cheering, "Go, Flash, go!" That was totally improvised.
It's crazy, but I love it, you know?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
like, "Come here, Clytus, are you sure your men are on the right pills?" What? Yeah, there's a little bit of camp to it,
Mhm.
it's great, I discovered this on HBO when I was in the 4th grade, around 1984, and ever since then, I have been hooked on this movie, I mean, so much so that a friend of mine in grade school, when we'd go over to his house, we would play Flash Gordon at
Oh,
his house or mine all the time. Acting
yeah,
out, some random Flash Gordon story. One of us would be Gordon, the other one would be either Voltan or Prince Barton.
there you go. And, then they had the Filmation cartoon was in the '80s as
Uh-huh.
well,
Mhm.
and they came out with figures, so you could play with those figures too.
Yeah, yeah.
You could recreate the movie.
I remember catching the cartoon on it was like the last cartoon that I think CBS or NBC would show on Saturday
Yeah,
mornings before they cut to all their afternoon stuff.
yeah, it was cool. And let's please don't even talk about the, Flash series that they tried to do on Sci-Fi.
I was hopeful for that, and after the first episode, I'm like, "Well, this is crap."
Yeah, it was crap. I mean,
Click.
yeah. Wow. Well, all right, sir. That was a great, great choice. Not as good as my number two, but
Oh, okay.
mine is also from. We love the early, and this is a great movie because this movie
Okay.
has sci-fi and fantasy in it in the same movie. It
Okay.
has John Candy in it. It has one of the best soundtracks of the '80s, and it's animated.
I know what it is now. It's heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
That made
Oh,
my top 10. I got a
yeah.
fun story about how I came into this movie, but you go first. You go first.
That's your first quarter right
Here we
there. I'm just gonna say that one was free. Next time you use the top. Oh God, now I gotta do it. Yeah, so this is just great. It's an animated anthology film. It's about this thing, this orb that comes to Earth, and a little kid goes to like touch it, and then all of these different movies come out. I mean, stories come out. Um, three main movies. You've got the one about the woman who is a kind of, I guess you'd say, a pterodactyl riding warrior
Yep,
princess.
yep, yep.
Then you've got John Candy in two amazing roles. I mean,
Mhm.
first he plays Richard Corbin's Den, which is really awesome because he's like a teenage kid on Earth who gets transported to a world, the sword and sorcery type of world, and he's in a huge naked um, warrior's body, and he's like still the kid inside.
Mhm.
And then later on, you've got the one where he plays Hanover Fist. He's a cab driver in the last one where God, what's the guy's name? Where he goes
Wait,
to
wait, he's
court.
he's Hanover Fist? No, he's not Hanover Fist, is he?
I think he is. I think that's the guy, the cab driver.
No, the cab driver is the first one. The cab driver is the first short. No, he's the robot.
The robot. Okay, yeah. The
He's
robot.
the robot in the one where the
woman.
ship comes down over the White House and sucks up the secretary.
Yeah. That's it. Um, yeah, I guess I wrote that wrong. Huh. Anyway, but it's such a great film, and then they keep going back to the story on Earth, and of course it's got that amazing opening with the car floating around in space with the astronaut in it. That was so memorable that didn't Elon Musk shoot one of those cars up into space and
Yes,
and
I
left it
think
there
so.
for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, just it's a great film. I love a good film that feels like you're getting a lot more out of it. Those anthologies, they have the individual stories, but they still get woven together by something like the Tales from the Crypt movie and Creep Show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this one, like I said, I mean, it's animated. It's some of the most beautiful animation, and every single one of them. There's no computers there. It was all done by hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm glad you like it.
Oh yeah.
So
I
how'd
own
you
it on
come to it?
I own it on DVD now. My son got it for me a few years ago for Christmas, but I discovered this when I was 16. So would have been or 15, 16. So we're talking 1990-ish. We were
Okay.
on vacation and everybody else, my mom, dad, brother, they had fallen asleep and I was still, sitting in bed, laying in bed and, flipping channels. I was looking at HBO and like heavy metal. Like, okay, this sounds interesting.
Did you
And
catch it
so
from the beginning?
I caught it from the beginning. I caught it from the very beginning. And when
Wow.
everybody else in the hotel room is asleep and I've got the volume down low and I'm watching heavy metal.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
then after seeing that, I made it a quest to find a copy of it, but due to it being tied up in copyright issues with all the music and everything,
Right.
the only way you could find it is if somebody had a bootleg.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody the one of the guys that worked at one of the local comic book stores had a bootleg copy of it that he had
Oh,
gotten when he had
wow.
recorded off of HBO at some point, and so he loaned it to me so
Yeah.
I could make a copy, and then I invited, a bunch of friends over and we all watched it.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys got to see this. You guys got to see this.
I just have to say, if anyone from the federal government is watching this, I have never made a copy of a broadcast VHS. So never. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. I don't know how it's done. Not me.
I disavow any knowledge.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
sure the statute of limitations has run out on that.
it's interesting too where they did Heavy Metal 2000 with Julie Strain, where they just, and it's not bad, but it's just a completely different take on the heavy metal. I kind of was disappointed that they didn't do the anthology feel to it.
I was so
Though I did
hoping for another
enjoy the
anthology.
film, and I have both of them on VHS. I have a really great copy of Heavy Metal. It's got like a foil cover, and like it's it's got metal rivets and stuff on it.
Oh, very cool.
And then I have it on DVD and stuff. But yeah, you're right. It was hard to come out of there for a while. It's kind of like Grease is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, amazing. So,
And I
well,
own the soundtrack to it because how could you not?
how could you not? What was his name?
Don
Don
Felder.
Felder. Yeah, from the Eagles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God, that's such a great
Yeah, I
song. And
think so.
then Cheap Trick is on there, and maybe Golden Earring. But it's a good soundtrack.
I don't think Golden Earring is. I
Is it?
know
Is it?
Stevie Nicks, Dio, Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar. Yeah, that's a good song too.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that opener. He's the opener for it. Yo, that
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that's my number 2. Now we are at the point of the show where everybody excitedly waits for your number 1 so we can get to mine. Go ahead. Give us your favorite 1980s sci-fi fantasy film.
Well, since I mentioned it earlier and said it's on my list, we all know what it is now. It is Conan the Barbarian.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
This is probably, out of all the movies I own, all the movies I've seen, this is easily in my top 5.
Yeah.
Because again, it's one I discovered on cable, watched it all the time because between this and the Beastmaster, between this and the Beastmaster, it was on TNT and TBS all the time.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. This, like The Road Warrior, The Road Warrior is the standard for post-apocalyptic movies. Conan the Barbarian, to me, is the standard for any barbarian movie, period, hands down.
Not the Barbarian Brothers? I thought the Barbarian Brothers would be like the top echelon.
That's the standard for bad barbarian movies.
I don't know. Is it the Barbarian Brothers with the 2 twin guys, or is it Sorceress with the 2 twin girls that were playmates or something?
That's right.
Yeah.
I own that on DVD too. I don't own not Barbarian Brothers, but Sorcerers.
That's such a strange movie. But anyway, back to Conan. Yes.
Yeah. Doing my research for this, I found Oliver Stone had a hand in writing this.
Really?
Which was wild. Yeah. And Arnold did all his own stunts.
Yeah.
Not really surprised there. He had weapons and martial arts training for the movie. Then this one I thought was interesting. Real arrows were shot into the snake by John Milius. He was considered the best shot of the crew, which is why they picked him.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And we can't talk about Conan the Barbarian without talking about the soundtrack.
That's true. That's true.
Vassal Polidorus. I mean, he hits it out of the park with this.
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
I will have to say you can't talk about this movie without talking about James Earl Jones's hair.
Right.
Oh, it's cool because even the way he looks, it's very menacing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, he kind of looks like Cher's been left in the oven for too long, but it's the way he looks at people and just instantly enthralls them. It's just so good. But the whole good thing about the movie, because like I said, it was my number 3, is the way that I mean, man, you talk about an origin story. This is an origin story. I mean, it starts when he's a little kid and his parents are slaughtered and he goes and raises up in a gladiator family, basically. And what is best in life? God, that is so good. But one of the other things about this movie that I'm thinking really a lot of people don't get to talk about is that it has a lot of romance to it. Later on, and I kind of understand why they didn't make her Red Sonja in the movie, but at the same time, it would have kind of been cool if they had. And then when they made Red Sonja, they couldn't make him Conan. Yeah. So they had to name something else.
Yep.
But I thought it would have been cool. But But anyway, that's just a small aside.
Yeah,
That
and go ahead.
that movie just makes you feel like because again, no computer animation. This is all, like you said, that's him doing his own stunts, him doing his own, you know, it's just relentless, And then when the princess pulls her stuff near the end, you're like, oh, come on, catch this guy a break. But it's just, it is, I will 100% agree, it is the standard to which Sword and Sandal movies need to be measured against.
Yeah, I like I said, I watch it all the time. Again, I own the novelization. I have the director's cut of the movie, which adds a little bit towards the end, at the literally the very end, and at the fight scene at the on the mound.
Okay.
When they're all doing the final duel, and there's a little bit more in the when they break into Thulsa Doom's lair.
Oh, okay.
For the second time to steal the princess.
Yeah. Wow.
So and of course I own the soundtrack because
of course
it's just a banger soundtrack.
Yeah, it
one
is.
Of those
it
where
is.
I can pop it in, and I know exactly, if I'm just listening to it, not in the truck, and I see the titles come up, I know exactly where we are in the movie, and I can picture it in my head.
My research, that's so many people talked about the fact that the soundtrack is just so amazing. Yeah. And so it was a great time in the 80s for Conan, because you had Conan, the Barbarian, and then Conan the Destroyer. You had the comic book that was out. They were reprinting all the original, what is it, Ron E. Howard?
Howard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Books too. I can remember reading so many of those.
I have
reading
a few
the comic
of those.
books.
Yep.
And then go ahead.
I hear you were talking comic books. I got a big old stack downstairs of Conan comic books. One of the comic book store next town over, he's got his 50-cent bin, and I'll go in there and comb through that. And a couple of times I went in there, I managed to walk away with a ton of Conan comics, to the point where I got a fairly decent stack of probably.
Wow. And they were well over 100, right?
Because there were a couple of different variations. There was Conan the Barbarian, and then there was
King Conan.
I think it was King Conan, and then there was also Savage Sword of Conan, which was something different.
That was like the magazine size.
That was a magazine size. It was put out. It was actually slightly larger than a magazine size. It was almost like Vogue. It was about the size of it, and that I've never read any, but I've been tempted to pick up a couple, because he has a big old long box with a bunch of those in it.
They're good. I have some.
They're priced at like $3 or $4 a pop. Those, I'm like, I can't go in and get my big old stack.
Well, you can if you just make a distraction, and
That's true.
So I want to use this spot because whenever I talk about Conan, I always have to talk about the idea that I had, and recently I've actually heard something like it may come into pass. But I always thought that there should have been a third and final film, and in it should be. The movie starts out with Arnold old, okay, like he is now, with everything, sitting on a broken throne in an empty throne room, where you can hear outside, the battering rams and whatnot are trying to break the door down. And he starts to tell the story of how he got here and what's happened. Right. And then the movie goes back with a younger guy. And, his son, for example, could play him. And so, not to give too much away, but it would come through, and you find out that the people trying to knock the door down are from when he was younger. And they're coming back, to get their due. And then it comes back to him, and about that time, the door gets knocked in. He picks up that sword, goes toward them and the movie ends.
Interesting.
You know, I just thought, but I just saw again while researching that this week, there's talk about him wanting to go back and do a third Conan movie.
I have heard that.
Yeah, you know, and as long as it's not him through all of it, I think it would be it could be very cool.
I thought in doing my research, I thought I read somewhere that they were planning on a third one, and I don't remember why. I think they scrapped it because of the poor performance of the second one.
Yes, I agree. You know, and how could it be poor performance when you have Wilt Chamberlain? I mean,
yes, the powerhouse actor that Wilt Chamberlain is. But yeah, and Jared alluded to this once because he likes Conan. He likes Conan the Barbarian and the Destroyer, but he tends to like the Destroyer better because it's leans more towards the comic book side of the Adventures of Conan,
right?
Kind of thing, you know, like
and you get a lot more Conan.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was watching it the other day, and I thought when they were going through the city, you know, the bandit, I can't think of his name. He mentioned something like, "Hey, doesn't that camel look familiar?" And I'm thinking, how would you know what that camel looks like? You weren't even in the first movie. That's my one. That is literally my one nitpick for the second movie.
Wow. Well, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my absolute favorite.
Okay.
And we've already talked about it. It is Flash Gordon. It is such an awesome film. I mean, one of the things I purposely held back was the whole scene where Prince Baron and Flash are sticking their arm into the tree, and then Flash pretends that he got bit. It's like that whole thing. Even though I watch it, even though I know how it's gonna end up, I'm like, just because it's done with. It's such a campy movie, but that part of it's done with such just focus and just I mean, and then you turn around and you have the Hawk guy. It rides the wave between being somewhat serious and dark to just super campy, and you get that music behind it, even though most of it's just instrumental. So many different songs, so many different feels to it, and Melody Anderson. I just fell in love with her. And then when she came on V, this the same thing. I was just like, oh my god, the TV series V with Beastmaster himself.
Oh, the TV series, series. Okay,
she's blonde girl.
The miniseries. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I thought she was in either the first one or the second one, but I could be wrong. But maybe. She was Mark Singer's love interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah. But of course, most people only remember Jane Balder, who played Diana. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a show. Man, that was a show.
That was an event. That's what that was.
Yes, it was, man. I started to do a rewatch on it because I'm doing a show just about the V series. And if you remember me watching that first one and then going to school and like, oh my God, did you guys see that? It was just so cool, and then you had the comics too later on that, kept the story going.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some books. A.C. Crispin wrote, I don't know, 4 or 5 books maybe.
Well, really? He did? Because I've just got the first one. I stumbled across the first one.
Did.
Oh, she,
okay. And something Crispin actually wrote to her once because she also wrote the novelization of the sequel to Probe, or the sequel called Probe to Star Trek this Voyage Home, about the probe that comes to Earth and then leaves. And so I sent her that and a couple of other books, and she wrote back and she put a post-it note in it, like I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 pages in. And
Yeah.
I opened it up, and she has signed the top of that page, and she's drawn a line, and she says, "After this line, I don't uh, I don't take credit for it because they butchered my story so much."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh,
That's
wow.
wild.
She lived in I think she lived on the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
Yeah, but she did several really good books. But yeah, I didn't
I'm
know
gonna
she
have to
was a
check
woman
some of
either
her
until I
stuff out
started
then.
doing the research to find her.
Yeah.
You know,
Huh.
but oh yeah, man. Oh, we go from V to flash forward to V. You know, I mean, it's such a great time to be a kid. Oh, but wow. Well, folks, that concludes the countdown of our Fave 5 plus honorable mentions 80s sci-fi and fantasy films. Chris, I want to thank you so much because I know it was horrible having to sit down and rewatch those movies.
Oh, yes, it was, and I did rewatch all of them
Oh, yeah?
before, over a couple of months before we came and did this.
You didn't have enough time.
Yeah. Well, again, it's one of those things that's why they're on my list is because
Uh-huh.
I watch them all the time and I still watch them.
Yeah.
And my son gave me grief when I told him what my list was. He says, "Wait, why is Star Wars not on there?" I said, "Because my criteria was I had to watch it all the time when I was a kid." I
Uh-huh.
said, "When I was a kid, Star Wars wasn't available but
No.
once a year, if you were lucky."
Yeah. Yeah. And when you talked about Where's the Lost Ark, I meant to mention this. I actually know the exact day that I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time.
Really?
I we used to have a drive-in, and so drive-in's been closed for decades. But my dad and I went out to it, and we picked up a couple of panels that had fallen out. Now I made a little shadow box thing out of it.
Mhm.
But in doing that, I went back into the papers because when it came out,
Yeah.
and we went to see it on the opening night at the drive-in, which was I think 2 weeks after the original one came out. And we got there, and my brother and I sat in sleeping bags and watched it on the top of the station wagon. And it just, it's one of those memories that will never leave me. But anyway, all right. Well, again, thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate you doing all this. I also want to thank all of you out there for tuning in to this exciting episode of Fave 5 for Fans. And it was exciting. I don't care who asks, that's what you have to say. We enjoy diving into all of these good, fun 80s movies because the 80s really were the best decade ever. I mean, and I'll fight you for it. If you liked the episode, please tell somebody. Go online. Give us some thumbs up. Give us 5-star reviews. We love the 5-star reviews. And if you want to, go leave us a review because it really helps. And maybe it makes the show grow. And maybe more people will watch it. And, they'll find out about Chris's show and, so about other shows. Oh, and I'll tell you this. If you didn't like it, which is okay, because I'm not everybody's cup of tea, tell someone that you don't like about it. Okay? I mean, just hear me out. You're in line at the grocery store,
Okay.
and that guy in the front, he's just like complaining. Blah, 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 blah. You should just reach out and say, hey, have you ever listened to an episode of Fave 5 from Fans? It's really great. Just think about it. Maybe it'll ruin his afternoon. Maybe, I'm just saying. You can find us, and by us, I mean Holistic Microphone Studios, on all the social places. And we stream together, and every week we're coming out with something. We've got this show, we've got Average Home Reviews, we've got Red Dog Terrain, now we've got Sequel House, and October Nights will be coming out by the time this is out. And it'll probably be a complete disarray every once in a while. So all kind of things you could watch and listen to. You can find us on all of the places like X and Instagram and TikTok and blah, 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 blah. Wherever you want. Wherever you want. So thanks so much for being a part of the Fave 5 family. We've got great new episodes coming out. So we'll catch you the next time. And don't forget, folks, new episodes come out every Friday.
Unless they don't.
Dude, first episode. That's you want to go with that. Did Jared tell you to do that?
No, he did not.
God.
No, he did not.
Okay. They mostly come out every Friday. Occasionally they don't, okay? But just to be sure, you should subscribe so you don't ever miss one. And remember, folks, like I always like to say, it may not be the best, it may not be the most popular, but it's your favorite. That's good enough for us. Thanks so much for joining us. Chris, take us out.
All right. Thank you for joining us. This was a blast, and hopefully I will return at some point. So good night, everybody.
Good night. Take care. And yes, you're definitely going to come back.